A Santa Clarita councilman stands in front of an anti-illegal immigration rally and declares, "I'm a proud racist." Well, as proud an American, can an elected official really stand there and say that? Everybody loves Super Bowl commercials, but is the Super Bowl really the place for a Heisman-winning quarterback to appear in an anti-abortion ad? And get off those tracks, a daring train rescue here in California. All the stories you're talking about and everything you need to know right now on The Filter. Hello again. Off the top, the Filter forefront. Our top four, including, should there be a federal law requiring kids to move out of their house when they turn 18? But we'll start with this. Santa Clarita City Councilman Bob Keller. Bob said, "I'm proud to be a racist." Apparently for Bob, that's a badge of honor.
A moment ago, I mentioned what Teddy Roosevelt said, and he was right on. One flag, one language. You know, I backed it up and I read that comment by Teddy Roosevelt at one of our council meetings a couple of years ago. I said, folks, this is important. And you know, the only thing I heard back from a couple of people, Bob, you sound like a racist. I said, that's good. If that's what you think I am, because I happen to believe in America, I'm a proud racist. You darn right I am.
During an anti-illegal immigration rally, Bob proclaimed he was proud to be a racist. I'm sure there's a lot of things to be proud of, but I'm also sure being a racist is not one of them. Like all of us, the councilman, elected by the people, is entitled to free speech. Well, today he said, you know what, I didn't mean it.
In all candor, Americans aren't racist.
Our contributors joining us via Skype, the editor of LAMetBlogs.com, Ruth Waytz, and civil rights attorney and former LA City Councilman Jack Weiss. And Jack, I'm going to start with you. Was Councilman Keller misunderstood, or should he be held accountable for what he said?
Well, he's an idiot, and he's not the first idiot to hold public office, and he sure, unfortunately, isn't going to be the last. I guess I should say, Fred, welcome to the First Amendment edition of Filter, because does he have the right to say it? Yeah. Should he be held accountable in a legal sense by a court of law? No. But the city of Santa Clarita, the council, the mayor, whatever their government structure, should immediately pass a resolution denouncing him, renouncing him, and calling on him to resign his seat for the good of the city.
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
We should all be held accountable for our comments and for our opinions, but this isn't something that needs to be legislated. He doesn't need to be sanctioned for this. And first of all, I'm so happy, Fred, that you actually played his comments, and then because he didn't just stand up and out of nowhere say, "I'm a proud racist." These are comments that are being twisted around for us to talk about on television, basically. But you're absolutely wrong, Jack. He doesn't need to be sanctioned for this. Yes, we need to be held accountable for our statements, and I absolutely agree with that. But you know what? He's been in office 10 years. He's been elected by the people of Santa Clarita. He's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, but Ruth, I got to tell you something. He stuck his foot right in his mouth. He
of
really
course he did. He absolutely did.
And you know what? We didn't take it out of context on purpose. We let you hear what he had to say. But still, Jack, as a guy who sat on the LA City Council, and I'm sure at times said some things you're not very happy you said, you got to be awfully careful. You've just got to know better than that, don't you?
This one isn't. It's not just over the line. It's not a couple of yards away from the line. This is a couple thousand miles over the line. It's the sort of thing that you say if you mean. And Ruth, I didn't say he should be sanctioned. I didn't say that he actually should be removed from office, that he should be penalized. But the other elected officials in that city should speak up and make it clear that that's not what they stand for. That's not what their city stands for. That's their responsibility. If they don't take that responsibility, then it is a black eye on that city.
You know, I got to be honest with you. I hear what both of you had to say. Jack, I'm going to err on your side here. I think somebody out there needs to make a statement. Otherwise, it does appear, even though he's been in office for 10 years, that that's a black eye in the city. Okay. Ever drive down the street and see those trailers parked along the curb with signs on them? That is a mobile billboard. That is now a target. Councilman Dennis Zine says they're a huge nuisance in the San Fernando Valley. Some would argue they're also a traffic hazard. Zine would like something to be done short of banning them. There's no law against them right now. Ruth, should there be?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to know what laws already are in place about parking in extended periods of time, because I know that if I leave my car on the street for 3 days, they're going to drag it away. So I'd like to know what laws already are in effect. And I read this proposed legislation that Dennis is putting in, which is even more vague and ridiculous than any legislation that's already there. I want to know what legal concerns have come up and been met, and by whom, when they tried to get rid of these things or enforce the existing laws. I'm not sure. All design legislation says is that it's going to give local jurisdictions an opportunity to better regulate these billboards, which means nothing.
You know,
so,
I used to live out in the Northridge area, and Wilbur Avenue, there was a place, Jack, where every day there were one of these trailers parked with a sign on it. And I actually thought that one day somebody was going to come down the street and crash right into it. I think it's a safety hazard if you leave it there too long.
Well, look, they are annoying. They're an eyesore. If they're a safety hazard, you could take action against them. Police could act. The Building and Safety Department could act. But Ruth is fundamentally right that this is one of these laws where the minute you write it, someone will find a loophole around it. I think we've all seen those vehicles, those cars that get wrapped in basically car-sized ads themselves. They become moving billboards. So what Zion is asking for is for the state legislature to act. That's the real problem here. The state legislature should spend none of its time worrying about this sort of trivia. They are messing up the budget of this state. They need to knock heads. They need to find a common ground and fix the fundamental problems of this state. Until they do that, I think the problems of cars that say things, is truly the least of our concerns in the state of California.
What do you think? You think Dennis Zion is posturing here?
Oh, he may actually care about this, but I think that I completely agree with Jack that on the hierarchy of what's important to be dealt with, this has zero value.